So Folklucks, today I'm going to be doing another AI video, except this one is not going to be fixing or redrawing anything. Instead, I'm going to be using it to make a collage. I know that sounds really weird, but just hear me out, because I'm going to explain it more in detail later in the video. But first, I wanted to talk about why I wanted to make a collage in the first place, because the AI images I found just, I don't know, something about it really drew me in. Like, I know it's AI, but like, the concept is really cool. It's sick. So basically, I was on Twitter a few days ago and I found these 3 images of these magical girl anatomical models, and I was just like, it's so bizarre, but it's very me core. Like, it's the perfect mix of like weird and cute. Like, I don't know, I love it. It just fits my vibe so well, and I needed to make a video about this. Originally, I was gonna do like a character design inspired by the 3 images, but then I was like, nah, I think making collage would actually be more fun, and also it would kind of fit more into the theme of what today's video is gonna be on, because it's gonna be about using AI art and images and stuff as like inspiration and blah blah blah. So before I start, I want to just look at how the really funny attempts at the AI trying to decipher English. Fairy ke, well, has a little dot over the E, that's pretty funny. Anatomically mode. Okay, you also can see that it was attempting to write in Japanese and some stuff on the bottom, so I'll give props that it's somewhat decent looking, like the lettering is decent, but yeah, it's missing a letter for the ke. Pretty sure it's supposed to be fairy K. I don't even know if that's considered fairy K because of the anatomical body, because that feels more girl kawa, but anyway. And then we have the second image, which I did not choose because I didn't have enough room for in my sketchbook for the second image, so I had to go with just 2. And also, I don't really like this one as much. It looks a bit too eh. And we have magical Ginnel. Anatomical model. Okay. This one's doing a better job. Okay. We'll also have to admit that her legs are a little broken and her arms are a bit too short for her body, but that's okay. Also, the organs and stuff on these images are, no. They do not look accurate at all, but that's okay. I'm not really trying to fix anything this time around. And then for the last one, this one is actually surprisingly the most coherent in terms of like the lettering until you get to Anotoke. Okay. So now let's get on to the actual collage making process. So the reason why I wanted to make this a collage was because I feel like there's a weird way we can use AI art and just AI stuff in general, maybe as I don't know, a jumping off point for like inspiration art stuff, you know. So basically the reason why I was doing this is because I was like, oh, what if I use AI art in a transformative way that's not just redrawing it or like reclaiming a character design, but like actually using it in a piece of art and trying to like make something of it. So that's what gave me the idea for this collage. Basically, I thought, okay, well, we have these magical girl anatomical model thingies. What if I made it into like this edgy but cute collage, and I had it, I guess the text you'll see a little later is magical girl dissection, because that's what that came to mind. It was like in my head for a while. I was like, okay, this sounds like the title of like a Yami Kawaii song or something like that, and that's what I loved about it. I was like, okay, you know what, this is perfect. So yeah, magical girl dissection, because the magical girls have been dissected, so the entire image is full of like pink and purple. Actually, there's not really that much purple. It's full of rainbows and stuff and cutesy shit everywhere, because the whole point is that it's a magical girl being dissected, I guess. Well, you see her organs and stuff. So, you know, I was like, okay, well, if a magical girl was being dissected, you'd probably find like rainbows and hearts and shit, right? Because magical girls are supposed to be all cutesy and sweet, and the juxtaposition just worked, okay? I just liked it. So, yeah. So for this collage, I just dove right in. I tried to plan things out, and as you can see, I struggled a lot with like the composition and all that, because I realized that the images were a bit too big, so I had to do a lot of cutting in areas that I was like, I didn't want to cut it at first, but at the same time I was like, I had to make a sacrifice, and that sacrifice worked out in the end. I did have to cut off one part that I wanted to keep, but it wouldn't fit otherwise, and that's the in the top right corner, which, yeah, it sucked, but in the end, I think it still worked out. Anyway, I should probably talk about the AI stuff. So a lot of people were talking about how like using AI for like inspiration is like, they're iffy about it because on one end, you know, someone's art was probably used to reference it, but at the same time, it's like, if you're transforming AI to the point where you can tell it was inspired, but it's like your own thing, it's fine. Like for this, I'm using AI, I guess imagery. I don't really want to consider this art, but you get the point. I'm using it to make art, so I guess it still counts in a way, but I'm transforming it into something new. I'm taking the images and I am basically turning it into something else, and, you know, I just thought, why not? You know, like, I know I originally said I wanted to make a character design out of it, but I was like, I feel like a collage would be more interesting. And also, because it gave me an idea, and that is what makes it, and that is actually, I think, maybe how we could use AI to our advantage, is using it as a jumping off point, using it as inspiration to get something new. Because that's the thing with inspiration, is that, and with AI stuff, like, when it comes to AI, you know, it's not really inspired by anything necessarily, it just is stuff. So if you were to use like an AI image and then make your own thing out of it, but it was inspired, but you made it even better because you drew it yourself originally, and, you know, you use it as inspiration, that's way better because, well, one, you're being productive with your art, and also you're kind of, you know, sort of trampling on AI a little bit because you're proving that humans are more creative because they're the ones who are able to take something and make something even better out of it. And that makes, you know, that is once again point 1 to the artist and point 0 to the AI artist, because I had to say the AI artist at least once, because, you know, AI artists, they aren't really doing much with their stuff. That's the thing I noticed with a lot of AI stuff, is that it's just being generated. There's no like process behind it, there's no sketching, there's no concept behind it. The closest thing they'll get to inspiration is like an art style that they're trying to copy. I came across this account that was like obsessed with like Sailor Moon and combining with vampires, which sounds cool, but it was just the same thing over and over again, and it was really boring after a while, and I was just like, do you not get bored of just generating the same shit over and over again? Like, what do like people do with this once they see these images? Like, do they make them profile pictures? Like, what do people do with these images? That's another thing I noticed about AI art, is that when people generate them, like, what do they do afterwards? Like, what are people gonna do with this? Like, because it's not like with regular art where you can see it, you can get inspired by it and, like, you know, save it or whatever and show it to other people. If I saw like a random AI image, I would just be like, okay, that's it. There's no meaning behind it. There's no depth behind it. There's nothing really that like shows any character really. It's just, it exists and it's being mass produced, and that's why I don't like it that much, because it's like, you know, there's nothing really to show for it. There's no story behind it. What's the story behind this image? Why is this the way that it is? Oh, because the AF artist just wanted to generate something that would probably get a lot of likes. That's another reason why AF artists kind of suck. You can tell that they're just trying to get followers and blah blah blah, because they generate stuff that's mostly popular. This the account I also mentioned was generating like cyberpunk styled stuff. That's pretty popular nowadays because I guess it's just, I know it's a popular aesthetic. Same with Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon's very popular. And also, I discovered other AI art accounts, AI art accounts, that were like selling stuff. They had shops. Excuse me? What are you selling exactly? And like, what exactly are people gaining from buying your stuff over in a real artist's work? What exactly? I need to know who the people are that are buying these, and if you are like naive, then I'm so sorry, you deserve to get your money back because you're basically scammed. But if you bought it knowing it was AI art or whatever, then like you kind of suck, because, well, you should buy it from real artists. You should buy stuff from real artists, not artists, because, you know, they're not really making anything. They're just trying to make stuff that's marketable, and they're just trying to sell stuff and get followers and blah 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 blah. Their whole shtick is just mass produce a bunch of like the same stuff, and then people follow them and are like, wow, amazing, awesome, and then that's it. Like, I don't get it, you know? Like, do AF artists get the same high that like regular artists get when they get compliments on their work, quote unquote? Or do they just kind of like, yeah, I got a lot of likes today, I'm winning? Like, what is the point, you know? That's another thing. It's just, you don't get, like, just, I don't know, the high doesn't seem like it will last for very long, because, you know, you didn't make the art, so obviously you're just posting random shit. And that's another thing, the styles are inconsistent, so it's like you're just posting the different things or whatever, and I'm just like, do people not notice that? Like, I feel like even if you're not an artist, you should be able to recognize that a style is not consistent. So many of these AI fart accounts are just inconsistent art styles that are just mass produced. It's always like some generic anime girl. Sometimes you'll see like maybe some borderline NSFW pinup type stuff of like some big titty anime chick or some semi-realistic chick or whatever with like the most impossibly smooth skin imaginable and like wearing some weird outfit or something, or just like out in public but she's wearing like a super weird outfit, or I don't know, just it's always so bizarre to me. Like I don't get it. I just can't wrap my head around it. You don't, like, the benefits just don't really add up, you know? Like, you get more out of it if you were an actual artist. You get more out of it if you actually made the art yourself. There's more satisfaction from knowing that your hard work is being appreciated. You aren't doing hard work. You're just typing words in, and then boom, you made art. Excuse me. That's not real art. You just type stuff in. And the fact that there are people who are selling, like, I showed in my last video, that people are selling, like, Mid-Journey prompts to get certain types of images just baffles me. That is like selling, I want to say it's like selling a recipe, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like selling a recipe that everybody knows or something like that, or like something that's very easy, like selling a recipe on like how to make scrambled eggs. Like, everyone knows how to make fucking scrambled eggs. You don't need to sell that. You're basically wasting your money if you buy that. You're wasting money if you spent any money on like Mid-Journey anything, then you're just, you deserve your money to be wasted, I guess, because I mean, that's on you at that point. If you're wasting your money on that, that's a you thing. But anyway, back to the image and, like, I guess AI art in general. I think that maybe using AI art in, like, a collage sort of way and transforming it and, like, you know, drawing over it or doing stuff like that would actually be a really interesting approach to, like, the whole AI art thing in general. Because at that point, you know, you're taking something that was kind of, in a way, collaged from other people's work, and you're making it into your own thing by collaging it. So it's kind of like this weird meta thing going on, you know? It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's weird, but I don't know. I like it. I'm not saying I'm going to do more AI collages in the future, like, as a regular thing. I just wanted to make this because the idea popped to my head, and I was like, okay, this is actually cool. I want to do this. This will make for a really interesting video, and I hope you guys like it. But to end things off, I was really proud of how this came out. I would say it's one of my favorite collages I've ever made so far. I know that, you know, it's AI, so it's a little, I mean, the images used for the inspiration are AI, but still, I mean, it gave me an interesting idea. I don't know, Magical Girl Dissection sounds like it could be like an album for some yummy kawaii artist or something like that, or just maybe an anime or whatever. It sounds edgy in like the coolest way possible. It's sick. I love it. It's just very me, okay? It was indulgent. This whole thing was very self-indulgent. But yeah, and also, before I end things off, I would like to say that I did use Mod Podge over it, like, at the end. You'll see, overnight, it turned out pretty well. It's very shiny. The reason why I did was just because there was a lot of, like, some of the stuff was still, like, coming off, even though I tried gluing it back down, and I was just like, you know what? Mod Podge. And yeah, I think also, if you're a chisel person with, like, art and stuff, you should use Mod Podge. It's really good. Just be careful with it. It could mess things up. I was very worried I was gonna screw the whole collage up with it, but as long as you're careful, I think it should turn out fine. It's kind of like a glue and a sealant, I guess. Like, if you cover over a large space, it'll, like, make everything very glossy. And you can also use this glue, and it's very good glue. I think it's meant for, like, I think it's meant for, like, collage stuff, really, which is why it's so good. So, yeah, and you can, like, put it over stuff, and it has this very glossy effect in it. It's really cool. But, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this weird video, and I'll see you quacks later.
and I will call it this.